Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Wrestling Diaries. This is the podcast show for the average Joe, inspiration station, blue collar, pop it, conversation. I'm your host, Mitchell Roulane, and check us out on, what is it? What of our audio? I had a brain fart here. Our audio streams, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a plethora of other platforms that host audio podcast. Our video content is also on Spotify, and we also, if you want to alternate, YouTube video content there as well. Go there, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell right there for more content we release once a week. This is a show where regular people come on. Some people are regular, some people are irregular. I guess everybody's really a little irregular, but we ask people about themselves and the things they wrestle with. Today, I have a very special guest on, the art goddess, Natalie Henderson. When you watch this back or listen to it, you'll see exactly why I do that.
Okay.
It's like, so most people think that this show is about wrestling, like professional wrestling. Like,
yeah.
I want to come on your show, but I don't really keep up with like the WWE or, I mean, I liked Hulk Hogan, I guess. And I'm like, well, I don't either. It's not about that. And so I started as a shtick. I started doing like announcing people out as like a professional wrestler.
That's really cool.
So that's your moniker. You're the art goddess.
Cool.
Almost said, what is it? The Artemis of art. I was like, I don't know if that would stick. She's like the goddess of like the forest or something. I don't know exactly.
I think it kind of works.
Actually, that might work because you do a lot of like forest art.
Yeah. So,
Natalie, you are a fine artist here in the wonderful city of Birmingham, and you just recently graduated from Montevallo. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Alrighty. So, yeah, I just got my bachelor's of fine arts at Montevallo University. Right now I am kind of like in the in-between of figuring out what to do next. I just recently got a studio at the Make in Birmingham. I'm moving in actually, I think next Wednesday, June 1st. So I'll have a spot that I can go and work when I'm
you were messaging me about this on social media. So how did that play out? Like, how are you like living in this art studio? Like, how did that all work? Through Montevallo, or like what's the channels of that?
So my friend Deidre was an artist with me at Montevallo. We both graduated this past semester. I meant to talk to her at the beginning of this semester and ask her, like, after we graduate, if she would like to get a studio with me. And a week after we graduated, she texted me and asked me if I wanted to share a studio space with her. So,
was that exciting news for you to hear? Were you like giddy? What did your parents think? Were they like, oh no, our baby girl?
No, they were like, yes, do it. Which
get her out of here.
I still live at home, but the studio space is like an office space we're renting. So it's like a workspace.
A live-in work space, work and live space. Kind of, yeah. That's kind of cool, yeah. Or not kind of cool, that's very cool.
Yeah, and it's an open floor plan too, so like you can walk around and like see everybody else's work that's working around with you, everybody else who's renting the space out too. So
sweet. So how long do you think you're gonna like board yourself?
I don't really know yet. Right now I'm on a 6-month lease.
Okay.
I might stay for a year. Depends on like what my plans are with grad school the next year or so. But right now it's gonna go the 6 months, see how it goes.
Okay. And so like about like your artist education and career, what kind of art is it that you do, madame? What is it?
My goodness. A lot of my art is based off of nature, natural kind of environment kind of stuff.
So yeah, you could be the Artemis of art.
It would work out.
She's like the goddess of the nature and wildlife.
But lately I've gotten even more into like environmental kind of natural art, like especially working on the deer this past year. That really brought out a lot of my my style and my voice in my work, even more before the last year or so.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What age did you start, I guess, drawing, painting, or any of that kind of jazz?
Really young. I still have drawings from when I was like 3 years old. I was drawing like birds and elephants, and it just kind of escalated from there.
Okay, so you've so at a very, very, very young age, you already like loved wildlife and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it just kind of translated into you drawing it. And do you exclusively just draw things? Do you ever like paint, like paint brushes and that kind of stuff? Is that?
So I think I can paint. We'll say that. I don't think I'm a bad painter. The problem is with painting is I don't like using acrylics because it's mostly plastic based and they're very cheap. Oils look so much nicer. I just don't like the chemicals.
Okay.
The chemicals smell so bad sometimes. I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah, my cousin that I was telling you that me and Matt were trying to do business with, he's an oil painter. He did some acrylics and watercolor stuff, but mostly his bread and butter was oil paintings. He got me kind of into it. Did a little bit I had a stint in doing oil paintings there for a little while. Got like 4 or 5 pieces.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I don't like. Part of me wants to show them to you, but then I'm like super insecure, right? So I'm like, she's like a legit artist. She's super good. She went to school for this, and didn't you get like scholarships or something?
Yeah,
or
I think I got 2 or 3 small ones
for art. And then I'm like, okay, yeah. So I'm definitely not going to show her my crap. I don't want her to judge me. Like, oh, that's good. You treat me like a little 5-year-old. Like, oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's good. Good job, guy.
You did great,
big guy. You look at you. How dare you judge me, Natalie? Thought we were friends.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but listen, art is subjective, so I mean,
that is very true.
Could be good. So,
amen to that comment. That is very, very true. I, the beholder, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, what after like walk me through? So, like you're 3 years old. You're drawing pictures of like little woodland animals and stuff like that. And then where does it take off from there? Do you start taking more art classes in school, going through elementary, middle school, high school?
Oh
like,
my
what does
gosh.
that look like?
So after I got out of elementary school and I got into middle school, I actually did not have an art class until I moved to Alabama. That was
you're
like
not originally from Alabama?
No.
Where are you from?
A little bit everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Lived a lot of places.
Everywhere. Right.
But I was in Tennessee when I lived in Tennessee. I lived in the Clinton, Knoxville, East Tennessee area. Okay.
Matt, you're a Vols fan, right? That's an inside joke between me and him. You won't get it, and probably nobody else will. He used to have this chair that, anyways, he's not. He doesn't even like football. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. So yeah, I lived in Tennessee for quite a while. We moved there when I was in, I could be wrong. It was either like 2nd or 3rd grade.
Yeah.
It might have been 3rd grade that we moved to Tennessee. And that was when I was still in like art classes, but it was just like elementary school art.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still doing like drawings or just like if we got to play with clay, I was doing clay and stuff like that. But once I got out of elementary school, I did not have an art class all the way up until like freshman year of high school when I first moved to Alabama. So I was able to get into a class again. So all throughout middle school, I was in band.
Okay. When you were in high school, was it, I guess, your aspiration to go to Montevallo, or is that just kind of like a school you ended up just getting tied into? Or?
I actually had no idea what Montevallo was when I first moved here.
Okay.
We didn't even know there was a college like right down the road from us. We had no idea.
Yeah.
But then a few years later, like my junior year, I started looking into colleges and found out Montevallo was really close. And we did field trips over there too. Every now and then they would do these like student art shows for the high school students, where students can come in, show their artwork they're making in high school, and then go and take a small little like class with some of the professors or other students teaching different things. So that got me into Montevallo.
Yeah, a handful of years ago, I spent a decent amount of time down in Montevallo, but it wasn't for school. For extracurricular activities. The nice 70% women to 20% ratio or 30% ratio to guys. So I went down there to flirt with a bunch of the cute artsy girls.
Yep.
And yeah, that's what happened. In fact, I think Matt joined me on a couple of those occasions. You remember going down there? I was hanging down there all the time. And I would go to campus and stuff and just meet people and make new friends and, go out on a couple dates.
It's very welcoming over there.
It is. I don't know what it's like now. I mean, I went over there because I went to your graduation. So it more or less seems basically the same. The people kind of seem the same, but I don't know.
I don't think much.
It was a small lifetime ago.
Not much changes over there, but that's the best part about it though. Like you can always go back and like, oh, that's a part of my home.
It's a liberal art school, and what I find interesting about that is, I go there and there's like I usually assume that people that go to liberal arts schools are more sophisticated and progressive and different things like that. But there's still a lot of like bumpkins. No offense, bumpkins. That are like, hey, y'all, I'm going to Montevallo. Yeah, we're over here in my truck. And I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy, man. I thought everybody, had perfect diction and all this stuff that go there.
Gosh.
And I was like,
yeah, it's funny
definitely
you talk
not.
about that because, like, oh my God, there were some people I saw at Montevallo and I was like, what is that?
What is that? It's a different kind of human.
Yeah.
It's a different form of human.
When you walk down the road and you see someone in like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's really good. You never lived on campus, right? You still stayed at your home and then
I was
commuted
really close.
back and forth. That's good. I mean, I guess unless you wanted to do that.
Save money.
A lot of you save money, and then some people I feel like might be more comfortable at home still. I don't know. And then because then other people are like, oh, want to get away from my parents, so this is like vacation or something.
It was not vacation. I mean, it was in a way, but also it was a lot of work.
So what do you want to like do with your art? Do you have like these grand aspirations for like making it a career, or like do you want you drawing pictures to be what feeds you?
I would like it to
pay your bills.
I would really like it to be. Right now I'm kind of just trying to figure out a space to work in, which I've got that figured out now, going to be having a studio in the make. Really, I want to show in galleries. I want to be able to live off my work. I'm not exactly sure like what my plan is right now though, because it's kind of just still trying to set everything in stone.
I feel like you really, I mean, obviously I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but in my unprofessional, uncultured, uneducated opinion, I really think you should. I feel like for you not to would be like a guy who can pitch a 90-mile, or a girl, like whoever, can pitch a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. And they do, in fact, like baseball. And they play it, right? And they watch the games, and they, have the jerseys and all this stuff. But then they just don't do it. Like if you could throw a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, but you didn't like playing baseball, then it wouldn't matter either way, right? Because I know somebody else who is, like you, is a very, very good artist. And she, like, oh my gosh, like she can draw. She's like really crazy. She's, when it comes to drawing, she can be ambidextrous, so where she's like drawing with both hands at the same time, and I'm like, whoa, that just blows my mind. But she drew like a picture of me off of this artsy photograph. I'll show it to you later if I remember. But she just didn't like doing it. Like she was so good at it. I mean, this picture she drew of me and gave it to me as like a birthday present. Like people would come over to my house and be like, oh man, you're so full of yourself. That picture you were taking, you blew it up and put it on your wall. And I was like, no, a-hole. This is a drawing from my friend that was given to me as a present. And they're like, what? No, it's not. And I was like, look closer. And they're like, and then they see like her signature and they can see the charcoal and they're like, whoa, that's freaking insane. I can't believe she drew that. It looks like the picture just blown up.
And she didn't even like drawing.
Yeah. Well, she liked it, but just not like, she felt it was like, right. It was just like a chore. She was like, oh, I got to draw. And I was like, if you feel like that about anything, and it doesn't matter how good you are, if you don't like doing it, don't do it. That's silly. But if you like doing it, right, you do like baseball and you can pitch a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, then if you're not trying out for at least the minor leagues, then F you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a cardinal sin, right? You're not giving back your God-given talents to this world.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because even at Montevallo, you'll start seeing that with students. They'll come in from high school and have like all the passions in the world for the work, and then halfway through I guess they just get burnt out and they don't want to do it anymore. They find all the projects that are given to them as a chore.
Yeah,
but it's building up there.
Why do you think they get burned? I've always wondered about that, speculated, and obviously I don't have any information, it's just all anecdotal, but like what do you think, why would they burn out on something that they initially liked doing or even loved doing? Like, what is that? I
think a lot of it has to do with the fundamentals of it. The very beginnings of learning how to make art, like color theory.
What's color theory?
Pretty much where you learn the color wheel and like all the different things about the color wheel that make up art. Yeah. All the different colors that go into each other, how to mix colors and how to mix paints. It can be kind of boring. Mm-hmm. A lot of the foundation stuff is. But if you don't learn the foundation stuff, though, then you're not going to have the background to be able to make work that's successful.
Right.
because you have to understand like, oh, I need to know how color theory works. I need to know how to use these pens that I just bought. Like it all goes into the next.
Yeah. Well, that's also an interesting take on it too, because you're like classically trained in this in education, right? At university. So what would you say to like people that they don't go to school for this, but they're just like making art, like abstract or whatever it is, and they're really good at it? There's some people out there that have no education on art whatsoever, but they do it really well. And they're like, they have museums or fine art shows, or they're featured in a TV show or something. What about that?
I look up those people.
You look up to those
yes.
people? Like, how did you do that?
I just honestly, like, even after like getting my degree, I was just like, how do some people just do that? Like, they just have it. I mean, I was pretty good at drawing as a kid. Like, I will say that, but like, there's stuff that I've learned through school that I was like, I never noticed. I was like, I would have never learned about that if I didn't take these classes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one thing that's cool to me is like when you're drawing from life, they tell you to not look at the object as the object itself, but to look for shapes within the object. And doing that will help you simplify the forms so you're not overthinking it. Yeah. So when you're drawing, like, you could be drawing like a light bulb and it's like, oh, well, there's all these different reflections, stuff like this, and it's glass. Glass is kind of hard to draw. You look at the reflections as like shapes, like, okay, there's a square right there, there's a circle, or this was like a weird curve right here. It helps you simplify it, and it makes it easier to step into the project rather than just taking it all in as the light bulb.
Yeah, I see. Also, like, I feel like going to university or getting a higher education based on the art that you're doing in life also helps you kind of like, it works as kind of like a platform. Like, it helps you kind of, I mean, you've got better connections, scholarships, people are more aware of you. Like, you have like a better leg up on, like, especially if you're trying to do it for a career versus just hustling. But I mean, I don't know. I can't really have a really good informed opinion on this because I'm not, like, I don't paint and draw either, like just for fun or, professionally or non-professionally. So I can't really say much about it. I just feel it's pretty interesting. The dynamics there. But the people that don't, I guess, get a higher education in that do it either for living or it's just like, they're just like, it blows my mind too. Like, how good they are.
Yeah.
And they don't understand any of that stuff. Color theory, they're like, what? I know some of these people, right? If you said color theory to them, they'd be like, what are you talking about? But they literally can paint and draw, and you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's like it kind of reminds me of the people who like pick up an instrument and never learn music theory. I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, how are you good at this, but you don't know your scales?
You remind me of Cheyenne in that light. Her art is music, but she's been classically trained and she went to school for it and all that. She actually got a scholarship for doing music as well. And so she understands it from, I guess, a more primitive standpoint, because she started playing when she was in school, just picking up the guitar and doing stuff. And then she went to school and learned, like, notation and all these musical technicalities. And she applies that to what she does as well. And it's, I don't know, I feel like she's benefited pretty heavily from it. But I'm not trying to like put it off either way. Like, say, oh, you don't have to go to school to be a good artist, or you have to go to school. Like, I guess it just depends on who's, got the paintbrush in their hand and what they do with it.
Yeah.
Or what you want to do, what makes you happy. I guess really at the end of the day is how I would slice that.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
School does. I mean, like, I'll be honest. Like, school helped me out a lot in my my view of it. Like, I needed to go to school, but like you said though, like, some people just don't need it. They already got it down. They know what they're doing. I did not know what I was doing.
There's also some punk rock purists that would be like, man, why would you go to school? Art can't be measured like that by education. I didn't go to school to learn how to play punk rock, right? It's just these crappy chords and me singing this music. It's deeper about that. This is about it, sending a message.
Yeah.
I know people like that too.
I do too.
So, hey, whatever works, I think is just, a different formula for different person.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. So what do you have for us today? You brought some stuff here.
Yes. So I do have some work.
Some of this cool stuff. She's the most like prepared, disciplined, clean cut, organized, like artist, quotation marks, that I've ever met. Like she looks, like she's got the tattoos and the dark hair. She's like, she wears the all black, and then she has like the art, but she's so like, her car is so clean. It smells really good. I'm serious. Don't cut this out. This is hilarious. So Matt, also what I'm going to do is after the show's over, I'm going to send you the pictures of the deer. Like she had an art show for this. Like this is like some of her like best work, I guess, that she did of these deer. And it's like in a lifespan of a deer. Like it's like a baby deer and an adolescent deer and a grown deer and an old man deer and then a dead like pile of bones. It's really freaking awesome. There's like a story behind it. And now we're back at it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Wrestling Diaries.
Righty.
Don't cut out all of that. Some of that was funny.
Yeah, some of
that
really
dialogue.
Funny.
Yeah, see, she likes it. Don't cut it all out. In fact, you don't have to cut any of it out. It's fine.
We can just watch me. Like,
yeah, we'll just watch her thumb through and then just watch me just like sit here and just say a bunch of just random stuff.
I mean, I'm here for it. It just makes all the better.
Okay. Miss Henderson, what do you have for us here?
This one is a little study I did last year. It is color pencil on black paper. Let's see.
Ooh.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can see it. So hold it up closer here. Ooh. Oh, it's
yeah. Oh wait. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
So that is one that I did.
Man, that is
it's drawn
fabulous.
from life. It is a goat skull in a glass dome that I put together. That I have found at thrift stores and antique stores.
I knew she was a devil worshiper, Matt. I knew it. I sensed it. It's not Beelzebub, it's Beelzebud. Beelzebud, my buddy. No. That's really cool. Can I see this actually?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's good likeness. You have like all the textures of the skull and like that's so awesome.
That's one thing I like working like with black paper. I didn't know this either until I took this class.
I also feel like this like would be a decoration that you'd have like on your shelf of decorations. Like it would be
exactly.
If it's not already.
It's like
I'm gonna find a.
Have you ever heard of the
skull.
Cabinet of Curiosities?
I have not.
So that hopefully I can remember what this is. It was in like the 17th and 18th century, where these artists were like putting together these like cabinets of like things they had found around the world. And
oh wow,
it was called the Cabinet of Curiosities. It was a collection of like sea urchins, bugs, flowers, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like you could find anything and everything in these places. And it was to help inspire people. So I think that's one reason I've kind of done that too, is because like these like weird things that I do find like at thrift stores or antique stores, like I look at them and they look really cool. I'm like, man, I kind of want to draw that.
Spoken like a true artist. She shops at thrift store and antique stores. Yep.
It's the best place
I knew
to be.
it. I got to bet, put $1 million in the Vegas spread. I'd be a rich man right now, Matt. All right, what else we got here?
All right, so these three are part of a series that I did. It was at the beginning.
Series?
Yes, one of my first series I did. I call this Artichoke Autopsy, and you will see why in a second.
Artichoke Autopsy.
Yeah, and you will see
I love
why
the
in a
title.
second.
It sounds like a thrash punk band.
It was not intentional, but then I laid it out after I finished it, and I was like, this is like an autopsy, but with an artichoke. And I was like, all right, Artichoke Autopsy.
That's awesome.
So I went to the grocery store and I picked up an artichoke and I cut it in half. Well, I drew it whole first, then I cut it in half.
Yeah.
But it's basically just showing like all the different textures and stuff in an artichoke. This is one of the first projects I did as a series. So it was my experimental like first series.
Okay.
First artichoke.
Little artichoke, little bud.
Yeah. Just showing detail
Nice.
and stuff like that. And then the second one is after I cut the artichoke in half. This is really cool. I honestly love this. Like, artichokes are awesome.
Do you like eating artichokes?
Yes, I do.
Look at that. Holy Christ. You seeing this, Matt? Yeah, it looks like it's a photograph, like from a distance. Like if I get really close, I can see it's a drawing. But if I get like further back, I'm like, oh. Yeah. Look at that. Somebody took a picture of an artichoke cut in half. What a loser.
It's me. I'm the
kidding.
loser.
No, you're not. Well, you didn't take a picture of it, so you can't be. You drew it.
I drew it.
That's so awesome. I feel like I can taste it just looking at it.
Yeah, I tried to taste it. I think my mom tried to cook it after I was done drawing, and it just did not work out.
I had artichokes for the first time, and it was on pizza. How about that?
pizza and artichokes work really well together.
And look at this one.
Yeah, that's the
It is
last
an autopsy.
I know, like you put it all together, like all three pieces together, it looks like a doctor's like photographs from an autopsy.
Yeah.
Like how did
So you
this
should do
artichoke
another
die?
one that's like a food, but make it like pornography
Oh
of
my
like a
gosh.
tomato or something. It's like, oh, tomato porn. Why not?
I feel like that's a song. I'm
Tomato
pretty sure
porn?
it is. Yeah,
Is
something like that. I can't remember what it was called.
This is so freaking awesome. And what did you use again on this?
That's micron pens and watercolor washes.
Micron
So
pen,
ink and watercolor. This is one that I did for my art history final this semester. I did this in a day. Okay, like I was so burnt out of drawing this semester from drawing those deers, and I had one more drawing to do, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna knock this out. So this one I just sat down and just did it really quick. It's more of a study. We were supposed to take what we've learned this semester and an artist that we're inspired by, and we could do a drawing about it and have like our own small little artist statement. So I cannot remember her name, but her name's Mary. She's from the 16th and 17th century as well. She was an environmentalist in South America, studying all these bugs and like creatures and the relationships that these organisms share. So I was showing, I think they're called black tulip flowers with bumblebees.
Nice.
Sharing relationships. That's one I did. It's more of just like a study.
I don't know if the camera's picking that up, Matt, but there's like a blue. It's like there's a blueness to it. You see that? Oh, I guess it is. It is picking up. I guess kind of. I can't. It's hard for me to tell.
Small, kind of.
That is so fabulous. Can I hold?
Yeah.
it for just a sec? Whoa! God, that is so awesome. And then like the bees, they got the little fuzzies on them. That's so cool, dude. You could like. I feel like you could put this in a fine art museum and sell it for thousands of dollars. What do you think,
one
Matt?
day.
Like legit, I've of course it's subjective, like you said, but I've seen art that I don't find as aesthetically pleasing or detailed as this stuff that is, you'd see, and then it's like a $10,000 price tag on it.
Yeah, no,
So-
I agree with that. And there's
You can
some
work on
stuff
that,
I've
lady.
seen too, like with like prices
Do
on
some
it. and I'm just
NFTs
like,
too.
Honestly, is that one? These two are kind of the same like the first one I showed.
Okay.
On the black paper, it's all color pencil. So this one right here that I'm getting ready to get. This was a 3D collage where we had to like take like life from life and like produce this like 3D collage and draw it. So I have a bunch of different things here. A lot of it's scrap wood. Some of it's actually a lot of it's scrapped wood. And then there's a chess board and this I've got this like brass swordfish and then chess pieces all in it. This one might be kind of hard to show. I do not have this one matted either, and I don't think it's upside down. Yeah, there we go.
Interesting.
It's kind of like a study, I guess, just studying from life again. This is another life drawing. I think I actually drew from life and a photograph from that one because I take pictures of my still lifes too.
God, that's so cool. That was really awesome.
Thank you. And then I have another still life from a class that I did. This is all the same class. About a year or so ago. This one's my favorite one. So I cannot remember what I named this one, but I was kind of like what I did with the deer. I was doing like the celebration of death, and I actually had my concentration review last semester and back into like December, I think, or maybe November. And one of my professors was like, "Oh, your work kind of reminds me of like Dutch Renaissance," and I was like,
Okay.
that's really cool. So I looked up Dutch Renaissance stuff and I was like, oh, okay, I see how you get that from this. Cause like it's very dark, but yeah, I don't know. I like this one a lot. I'm very happy about.
I love like when things are drawn, like color is drawn on a black like paper.
Yeah.
It's just really nice. That's why the Batman the animated series in the 90s, Matt, looks so good because they drew those cartoons on a black background and they just use colors because they want it to be dark because it's Batman.
Yeah.
And it's really good. You should check it out. See what I mean? You can be like, oh, I can see how they just, it makes the colors pop more.
It does.
Like.
And like another thing too, like when you're doing this process is like, it's all like first you do everything in white color pencil. Mm-hmm. So you build up your highlights instead of building up your shadows. Because
So,
the black
like,
paper is already the shadow.
I don't know if it's weird to say this, but like looking at some of this makes my mouth water. Not like I want to eat it, I guess, but
Some of it's real plants.
yeah. And look at that. There's an artichoke. How about
Oh yeah,
that?
there's another artichoke.
And a goat skull.
That's another thing too. Like I've tried
this
to
is
like
badass.
correspond like all this stuff I'm doing and like all these like little things that I like to draw together. Because actually there's another one that's in there. It's a compass sundial that I have.
Mhm.
It doesn't work, but I have drawn it multiple times. This next piece is compass and sundial. So this one was a figure drawing, I'm pretty sure, but I didn't want to draw the figure, so I made it really blurry because that's how I cheated that one. But yeah, I took the compass and like had the figure in the background.
Jeepus.
This one is pencil, graphite.
Is that an image of a person?
Yeah.
Like a ninja? Looks like they're wearing like a mask.
Yeah, they were wearing a mask when we took the images.
I see.
So we had a model come in for class, and we had to go in. Like each student had like a certain amount of time to take photos with the model.
Nice.
So that's one of the photographs.
I don't know if this is going to sound like a perverted question, but have you done like the nude model drawing stuff?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
I think I do and I don't. The only reason I don't like it is because it is so hard to draw a human being from life. Like it is difficult. But it is really fun though, like studying the body like that and studying like the beautiful side of it, both men and women.
Yeah.
So, done a little bit of it.
John Mayer wrote a song, Your Body is a Wonderland. What else we got here, Natalie?
Alrighty. So this one's actually one of my most popular ones. I have a lot of people that love this one. This one is two anteaters going on a date.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very
was
specific.
Trying to show,
Oh, it's actually that.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be more like, like an abstract concept, but
No,
it's literally,
literally.
it's literally that. It's literally, not figuratively, it's literally two anteaters on a date.
Yeah.
I got some wine
sharing an
here.
anthill.
That is so freaking
I was
hilarious.
Like, I love doing this. I was trying to throw like all these like little different jokes and stuff like that. They're smoking cigarettes too. You know, they're having a great time.
Dude, that is
I could see this being a novelty piece. Like
Yeah.
dogs playing poker or something.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, this is so much cooler than the dogs playing poker, I think. You're just seeing it in like a very intimate setting, you know?
Even we have like the formal painting in the background.
Yeah. Of an anteater.
Yeah.
This is so badass, man. Oh my God.
I was trying to do
So since you're on the show,
Yeah.
one of the obligations for being on here is like you have to give me one of these.
Oh my goodness.
That's like one of the prices that you pay for being on the Wrestling Diaries. Just have to take one of these.
Oh, dang. I did not read the fine print.
Well, hey, I've sent you the disclaimer. I don't know. You gotta read it.
I guess I didn't.
It's
I
only
just signed
7,000
okay.
pages long. What else you got here?
Anyway. So this is the last one I did. This is watercolor and gouache. I'm not the best at gouache. I'm
What is
still
gouache?
It is a type of watercolor. It's
Okay.
just it's more chalky.
Mm.
Actually, is this watercolor? It might actually be ink. I think it's actually ink and gouache.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of watercolor. It might be all three. But
Gouache.
gouache is, you'll see in this, you might not be able to see on the camera, but you'll see it's a lot more chalkier.
Yeah.
I really like gouache because I like how pigmented it is. But this one is a little firefly in a jar captured.
Oh, dude, that is so freaking badass. That's so nice.
This one was called, I do know the title for this one. It's Captured Scholars.
Captured Scholars.
Fireflies symbolize scholars.
And I love how the, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like the bulb on the firefly is like kind of like a light bulb.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That's so creative.
One I did about a year or so ago.
Is that your hand on the jar?
No.
Oh.
No. I mean, it could be. I don't know if my hands look that. I don't know. Those look nicer than my hands.
Oh, okay.
But the idea behind that one was showing like, I don't know, like I was trying to show just the idea of capturing ideas, capturing like new ideas for yourself.
Right. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure your stuff's all good. That is so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, I'm going to send the deer thing to Matt, and we'll probably put it up. I don't know where in the episode, maybe at the end, maybe at the beginning, maybe right after this or before this. That's so cool, man. It's just like I wish I could do an autopsy on your brain, like, you know, metaphorically, and like just see like, you know, how you do these things. Like, it's just beyond me. Now I'm absolutely never showing you my artwork. Like, the only way you're going to see it is like, I don't know, you like stalk through my social media stuff. I think it might be on there, but now that I'm saying it, I might take it off now.
It's like, now I kind of want to see it though, that you've talked about it so much.
Oh my God. I mean, I know, like, I gotta stop. All right. I didn't do any art. It was a lie. I was just making it up.
It was all a lie.
Just
for the episode.
Matt did it, but he let me use it because I'm insecure. But here's what's so funny. Like, everybody that I know, not everybody, but most people are like, oh my gosh, you can paint like that. You're a natural. You're so good. And I'm like, yeah, probably not, but whatever you say. And then like I get around people like you, and then I'm like, oh, these people, they're definitely just regulars. They have no idea what they're talking about.
I don't know. You're always your worst critic, though. It might not be as bad as you think it is.
That's very true.
Because I see my work and I'm like, what is this?
Unless, of course, you're like a narcissist. Then you're like, oh,
true.
Of course. I mean, yeah, this is how I would say it if I was that. I mean, yeah, your stuff's okay, Natalie. I mean, some of it wasn't that realistic. I feel like I did something that looked like an artichoke that looked, I mean, it looked pretty, like you feel like you could like take the dew off of it from the water and then on the picture.
That's true.
Yours is good though. Yours is good. You know, I have to show you some of mine though. Like mine's, you know, I've gotten a lot of people tell me it's really great. So, you know, hey, you know, whatever.
It is surprising how many artists there are like that out there.
Really?
Though. Yeah.
Have you met them? You just want to like punch them right in the face.
Yeah,
and then
it's like
draw them. Punch them in the nose. They have a nosebleed, and you draw them. You're like, oh wait, hold that thought. Let me draw you with your nosebleed.
With your nosebleed.
I don't like people like that are so weird. To me, I'm like, they're not realistic.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
A lot of them end up being like self-consumed in themselves too. And I think it's very common.
Yeah. I think a lot of it stems from insecurity, and they're projecting. Just projecting their insecurity. So they're like, oh yeah, they feel weak, but they're strong, right? They're the strongest person in the room, and et cetera, et cetera. That's so cool. Her phone's on Matt. It's a red strike. Write her a ticket, Matt. Write her a citation.
I thought I had it silenced. Okay.
We should get some of those. Like, we have like some papers where we like write people up. Like, oh, you have your phone. Oh, no. I'd be wrote up I'd be fired probably.
I know. I was like, I thought I silenced that.
So a friend of mine, she lives in Manchester, England, and she's a yogi. She does yoga and all that, and she does like rope work and other things like that. She's been on the show twice. And I think it was the second time I had my phone on me, did not put it on silent, and it rang. Well, it was like my sister kept texting me, and I was like, what the crap? And I was looking at it, and then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to continue talking, or you just want to look at your phone? And she like called me. She put me on blast on the show. And I was like, it was, and I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. My sister was like blowing my phone up. And then I was like, I just threw it across the room.
Oh my
And then I forgot to turn it off. And then it rang. And she's like in the middle of talking about something deep about like her dad or something important like that. Or they were dealing with lockdowns really bad in England. And she was like freaking out about it. Not freaking out about it, but you know, she was talking about it. And then my phone's ringing. And then she's like, oh, you think you might want to get that? And I'm just looking at her. But she's also sassy, and she was like giving me a hard time. But
that's funny.
It's super funny.
You want to get that?
Yeah, you want to get your phone? It's okay. I'll wait. I'll just sit here and wait. You can talk to somebody on your phone.
I wish I had a British accent. Everything would be so much better.
She's so cool. Maybe I'll link you two up one day. Like she'd like you, vice versa. She's a artist of the body. She's a contortionist and a yogi and does all these really cool things. She does yoga classes.
I had to take one yoga class this semester. I was supposed to be in yoga at the very beginning.
Not to stereotype you. You look like somebody that do yoga.
No, that doesn't surprise me. I took one class and had to drop the class because it conflicted. Like I had something come up with my schedule. But done yoga once.
So what do you what outside of just like drawing and doing, you know, making your art like that, what else is something that you like?
Well, I do like going on hikes a lot. I've not been able to in a while, but I do like going outside.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because
you kind of have to.
you're all, outdoorsy, whimsical.
Yeah. Hiking is fun. I like kayaking. It's just finding the time is the biggest problem.
I love your dynamics though. You are like outdoorsy, whimsical, but then you're like aesthetics. You're like this like dark, brooding looking, with your
like
dark
found in the
clothes and your
woods.
tattoos, and like I love it. I love that. I love people that like, I know a guy that loves like punk rock and death metal, but when you see him, he dresses in like khaki pants, he tucks in his polo shirt with a nice belt, some sweet saddle shoes on, his hair's like all perfectly coiffed and combed and all that, but he freaking listens to just like grindcore and metalcore, and he's just like, and he'll get in the pit and all this stuff, but he looks like that because I think it's also because of his job, like whatever he does, but he also just likes dressing like that, but he likes like the darkest, heaviest music, and you would never ever expect that.
That's wild.
And I love that. That's some of my favorite things. People
That's
like
really
that.
cool. Yeah.
So like you look like you would be more lighter, like your hair's like blonde and you're wearing like a flowy, like kind of hippie-ish type of thing with some bell bottoms or something. Instead you have like the dark, like the dark, what is it? The Kate Von D look or
Kat Von D.
Kat Von D, excuse me.
Yeah.
Don't let her fans come after me.
Every time I cut my bangs, I've been told I look like Kat Von D.
That's a heck of a compliment. She used to be my MySpace like profile picture.
Yeah, I think you told me about that.
Because I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I was like, oh, she's so hot. And then I remember like my ex-girlfriend be like, tattoos are like, they can be pretty hot, but I feel like that's a little much. I was like, you're looking at this picture of this chick and you're telling me that's too much? Are you kidding me? Look at her. Who cares?
Who doesn't love Kat Von D?
So,
how do you not love Kat Von D?
I told you reminded me of, also, you kind of remind me of, what's her name? I forget the character, but in Beetlejuice. You know what I'm talking about?
Lydia?
Matt?
Is it? No,
is it Lydia?
I think.
I don't know, but it's played by Winona Ryder. And she comes in, she has the big top hat on. She's got the all black on. And
I think her name's Lydia. I haven't seen Beetlejuice in a really long time.
Say it 3 times.
No.
Come on. Let's do it. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
I don't risk it.
You've seen Beetlejuice, I'm assuming.
Yes,
I heard they were working on a sequel. All original cast minus the big guy that was like the interior decorator dude. I forget what his name was. He was like one of my favorite characters. He's actually from Bessemer.
Wow.
Yeah. He actually moved back here after he retired from Hollywood. He passed away a couple years ago, but yeah. But anyways,
I remember hearing something.
Yeah,
about
Tim Burton, Michael Keaton back, Winona Ryder, some of the other cast people. Yeah, it's like
that's really cool.
Pre-production right now.
Well, I'll have to go see the new one then.
Yeah, let's do it. So, let me ask, let's see what else. Are you a very romantic person, Natalie? Do you like that kind of stuff? You're one of those girls?
I mean, in some ways.
Sometimes.
It depends.
Like what would you like? What? See, I told you. Hey, you should have said it was off the table.
I know. I was like, here we
everything.
go. Here's the dark questions.
Here we go. But like, what would be like one of your like most like romantic outings? Right? Like if you could just like dream it up. I shouldn't probably be asking this. Like your boyfriend's like, damn it, why would you do this to me, Mitchell?
I'm trying to think of like something. I really don't know. You put me on the spot here.
That's what I do. That's what they paid me the big bucks, lady. Put people on the spot.
I don't know. Like I guess I like the idea of like going up in the mountains and like having like renting a cabin. That'd be really fun.
Nice open fire.
Yeah. Open fire. Jacuzzi.
Sweet.
Some drinks on the side. Yeah. Candles. That sounds nice.
Is there? Never mind. I'm not going to do this to you. I was going to ask. All right. Moving on. So what else do you do? What's your favorite food? Let's go with that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Is it artichokes?
I do like artichokes a lot. Sushi. I love sushi.
Also another stereotype.
Yeah.
I would have guessed.
Yeah.
She does yoga. She likes sushi. She does art.
I eat a lot of fish.
Fish is good for you.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're eating too much tuna and swordfish. There's a lot of mercury in that. Be careful with that.
Yeah. I do like swordfish too, though I haven't had it in a while.
It's good. It's just got a lot of mercury in it.
I think of what else I like. That's weird. Quail eggs. Sometimes my brother
quail eggs are good.
Eggs. Yeah,
they use
really
a lot
good.
of quail eggs in Vietnamese cuisine.
Yeah.
One day we'll have to go out and I'll have to get you to get one of those dishes. It has like a egg noodles with quail eggs and like mixed sauteed vegetables or chicken or beef or shrimp or nothing at all. Just
Yeah.
vegetables.
That sounds really
Vietnamese cuisine. Woo. Good stuff.
It's
You ask
good.
Matt.
good. My parents
Matt's
make
had some of my mom's pho.
Vietnamese sometimes. It's so good.
He knows what time it is. So, Miss Natalie, the art goddess, Artemis. Now we get to the point of the show where I try to take people a little bit deeper. What are some of the things that you wrestle with in your life? The proverbial monsters and demons under your bed or in your closet?
Perfectionism. I'm not gonna lie there.
I know someone that has a song called Perfectionism.
Who?
Cheyenne.
Oh yeah, I think
It's a
she
really
played
good
that
one.
at the Nick, right? Didn't she?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like one of my favorite lines in that song is at the very end is, well, the chorus is, you may think I am a perfectionist because I want things to be right, but really I'm just doing things to get a little high off knowing somebody else notices who I am. And the things that I'm working on aren't going in vain. This is the silent sin we live with. I was like, oh my God. Just even saying it now gives me goosebumps.
That's why I remember
that whole
song.
chorus, but then that finishing line, this is the silent sin we live with. I was like, man, that is just fantastic writing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not an expert in writing, but like, geez, just mwah.
That's really good though. Yeah, that's why I remember the song, because you were talking about it
Yeah.
at the Nick when she was playing it.
So you're a
there.
perfectionist. What is
Yes.
that?
It's a
Not
lot.
a surprise. Also another stereotype that I
It's,
judged you on.
it fluctuates a lot, I will say. Like there's certain things like that I don't notice, and certain things that I do notice with my perfectionism. A lot of it has to do with my art. Like it's definitely grown in my work. Especially like working with like clean borders, making sure everything is like super tightly done. Like I have a problem letting loose in my work.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've really been trying to push myself on, is to let loose in my work and have fun. And then other times I'm just like, no, it has to look just like the photograph, or it has to look just like the object I'm drawing. That's something that does kind of hold me back every now and then. But I think I do work with it pretty well. Because with that perfectionism, on the other hand of it being on the positive note, it does help me produce clean work and know how to professionally present my work in a clean way. So it helps and it doesn't help sometimes.
Wow. Yeah, I the whole perfectionism thing, that's been a thing that I've wrestled with a large part of my life. Matt too. He's a big perfectionist when it comes to all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like it can be good in the fact that you're more like oriented to detail, right? So the things that you do, there's a more semblance of excellence for the stuff that you do. However, it can also be a tomb, right?
Yeah.
A cage, like a prison that it locks you in, and you can't like. It's like, there's these. I always use this analogy when I'm talking about this with anybody, but like it's like this stairway to heaven, right? And you're sitting there analyzing it, and there's like a window, and these steps will close, and you can't get up there. But you're so like, you're a perfectionist about everything, and you're like, oh well, if you fall, you'll fall to Hades or something. And so like you're analyzing every step before taking one, and meanwhile there's just people running up. Yeah, And I also feel like being a perfectionist, you're also. I feel like they go hand in hand, like they're synonymous, but you're very cynical. Right, you're a cynic about things. Like that goes hand in hand with it. And so, like you're just like analyzing all these steps. Meanwhile, they're just running up to heaven. They're not worried about this other stuff. And then the stairs close, and you're just stuck in limbo.
Exactly. That's a very good description of it.
So, what do you? In this later part of my life now, in my adulthood, I've tried my best to just kind of just like I still calculate a lot of things, but I take a lot more risks with things because if you don't, you're just not going to go anywhere. You're just going to stand still and grow stagnant. So I just try to like, sometimes I just like, I've read so many things like in your head, you're dead when you think you stink. Sometimes it's better to just like, kind of just go with the flow. And then somebody could argue, well, but like you could like screw up. Well, I mean, like why do we fall? To learn to pick ourselves back up. Yeah. So sometimes you got to take a sucker punch or skint knee or whatever. Let the chips fall where they may sometimes. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this. It's just like my own opinion of it, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think it's important. Like, I mean, like you said, like if you're in your head and you're constantly thinking, like it's only going to hold you back because you're not actually making those actions. You're thinking about it, but you're not actually acting on it.
When I was in that that digital media school, one of the taglines that the professor person would always say it was analysis paralysis,
Mm.
right? Because we would have these projects, these video projects we had to do. And a lot of people are nervous, like getting in front of the camera and doing these different things, doing a hypothesis on something or whatever, a thesis. And some people were so nervous, and they would they would get behind in class because they were taking forever to try to get it like perfect. And he was like, "Look, no, just stop, just do it. If it's it, then it's it. That's just it. And then you do better. But we got to keep moving. We got to go, and you just get better through time. Like you got to just like." It's like jumping in the cold water. You just do it, or rip the Band-Aid off. You hesitate. The longer you hesitate, the longer you're just going to stay.
Exactly. I always rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, yeah, me too. When I realized that, I was pulling my hair out already. I was like, I might as well just do it now. I did that once, and I had like some medical tape on myself, and I ripped skin off. I was like, oh man, I guess this is one of those times I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the one time I'm not supposed to do it, I did it. But you wouldn't have learned it any other way.
Yeah. All right, so now I'm going to ask you a two-parter question that's attached to the wrestling points. This one's going to be pretty deep, so you can use your own discretion about what you want to talk about. But what is one of the darkest, most painful moments that you've had to endure in your life, Natalie? And what did you take away from it? What was the lesson that you learned, if any? That's a very deep question. I told you. Wow,
that's a lot of thought.
That's why I always say one of, right?
One,
because sometimes
quite a bit. Like throughout my whole life.
No, I mean, the last 5 minutes.
Okay. Being asked this question. I would have to say, like, it's not. It is hard to deal with because it's something I do have to think about in my career. So I'm a type 1 diabetic. I was diagnosed when I was like 3 years old. Back then, I mean, I didn't really understand what was going on, I mean, I was a little kid, but my blood sugar was so high that doctors did not know how I wasn't in a coma. But I've grown up with diabetes for the past, I think, 21 years now I've had it. It doesn't put me down, but I do have to always keep in mind that I am a diabetic and that one day, like, I'm not going to have my parents to rely on for medical supplies, and I'm going to have to figure out a career path that will provide me those supplies I need and the stuff I need to live. That's one thing that kind of really been in my thoughts the last few months is figuring out like, hey, well, like, I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I've only got, I think I've got like 2 or 3 more years that I'm on my parents' insurance. So
yeah,
it's one reason I'm pushing to get my master's now is so I can make sure there's insurance involved
to keep
with
your health issues at bay. Okay. What for people out there listening that don't know what type 1 diabetes is, would you give like a quick little summary?
Yeah. So type 1 diabetes is where your body cannot produce insulin at all. It is part of I think it's the pancreas.
That is correct.
It is dead in my whatever it is in your body. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember all the medical terms, but my body when I was 3 years old thought that it was a disease. So it killed my pancreas. But basically, like anything you eat that's sugar, your body cannot produce the insulin to calculate or make up for that sugar to burn it. So my body doesn't burn sugar. So if I eat food, it goes up and my blood sugar makes me really sick. So I have to take insulin for it.
Do you know the difference clinically between type 2 and type 1?
Yes, actually. So type 1 is the worst. That's where your body can't produce insulin at all.
And it's also, I think usually type 1 is generally genetic based, right?
Most of the time,
like you're kind of born with it most of the time, right? And then type 2 is something where you've like effed up your hormones really bad and then your pancreas starts betraying.
Yeah, type 2 is a lot more like it's usually related to weight problems a lot of the times.
That's why most people are overweight that have it.
Yeah. And you can usually get rid of type 2. And you do have to take insulin, but you don't have to take it as consistently as you do with type 1. Most of the time, I think type 2 people are on a pill.
Yeah.
Or they do have to take insulin like every now and then, but it's not every time they eat, I don't think.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I used to work. I was the office manager for a alternative healthcare practice, and the doctor was he was doing functional medicine. He was treating like autoimmune issues, diabetes being one of them. So But that was like a big thing. He's mostly treating type 2 diabetes with, lab work and nutrition therapy and supplementation and different things like that. It's pretty crazy. It's a crazy thing to have to live with. And then the type 1, like you said, is pretty bad stuff. My buddy Andy from England, shout out Andy, if you watch this episode, he's type 1 diabetes, type 1 diabetic as well. So he actually talked about that on the show when he came on. Oh, hey, Andy, you're not alone.
There's a lot of us out there.
You got this dark goddess that feels your pain. Okay. All right. So what is one of the most joyous, happiest, wonderful moments of your life that you were blessed with? And what do you take away from that?
Probably getting my bachelor's. It's pretty recent, but that has been
a lot
one of
to
the
you?
biggest, a lot, because it really did show me. First off, I didn't think I was going to do it a few years ago.
Why not?
I don't know. I was in a totally different mindset
Doubting
when I
yourself?
first started. Yeah. I
Being
was
a
like,
perfectionist, a cynic.
I was like, I think I was like 18 and I was like, I can't do this. And I was like, I'm going to drop out. And then I never dropped out. I just kept going to class.
That's awesome, man.
And then now I have it. So it was a really big moment for me.
That's
Look at that
awesome.
degree. I remember walking up. I know you and Shine were there, but like I walked up on that stage and I was just like, wow. I was like, I'm actually doing this right now. Like it's just the whole world just went like blank. Like nothing else around me mattered. I just picked up the degree and like shook the president's hand and I was like, I did this. I was like, I can't believe I did it.
Nice. You
Yeah.
That was really great. Look at you.
Yeah.
You handled it. You handled it like a champ.
Yeah. Took
You
a long
little
time.
perfectionist, you. Did you have fun on today's episode?
I did.
Or
I
not
did.
today's episode, but just being on the show in general?
Yeah. This is my first podcast, so.
Well, thank you
fun.
so much. I really appreciate that. This is Mitchell Lane and blah, blah, blah. You did a really awesome job. Thanks for sharing your art and bringing it here. We're going to try to get the deer stuff up because I really want people to see that watch the episode and all that. And also, if you're listening to this right now on the audio platform, go to Spotify or YouTube and go to the video so you get to see this art to believe it. It's really, 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 really good. Of course, that's my opinion, but I feel like if you're just if you have a person that has like normal eyes that work normally, I don't feel like there's no way you could look at the stuff that she's done and not be like, oh, wow. How about that? Is there anything that you would like to say before I sign us off, Natalie, to any starving artist or up and coming, some little girl, little boy out there with a paintbrush or a pencil or pen and they want to do this, or people that are doing it and they loved it and now they don't love it? Do you have any advice, any words of wisdom, my dear, that you would like to share?
Yes, actually. If you have that small burning feeling inside of you to be an artist, start digging deeper into it and pick up that pencil and start doing small sketches. It's always the smallest stuff that creates the bigger stuff in the end.
Amen and amen.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for being on the show.
Of course.
Appreciate it. You're awesome. You're cool. You're all right, I guess. She's all right, I guess. She's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of the Wrestling Diaries. We had the art goddess Artemis, a.k.a. Natalie Henderson, on here talking about art, talking about the things she wrestles with and all this wonderful stuff. Check our content out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and host of other platforms that have audio podcasts. Leave us a review. It helps us in the algorithms. Really awesome. Also, check out if you want to do your own podcast. I do a sponsorship for this that you'll hear at the beginning of this episode, but I'll do it again. Check out Anchor. It's very easy to make your own podcast and make a little bit of money, do some ads. And if you build up, more people will come at you with ads and advertisements and you can make more money and blah, blah, blah. Or if you just want to do this, you just want to hear yourself talk, right? You're just like obsessed with yourself like I am. You just want to hear your own voice and be like, oh, my voice. Do that. So, yes. Also, video content, like I said, YouTube, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more content. Art is subjective, and that's what's so beautiful about it. It's like one of the most greatest things that human beings uncovered, I feel like, in my own opinion. It's really great. And I feel like, and also in my opinion, I look at life as like this very big blank canvas, right? It's a big blank canvas. So like paint whatever it is you want to do on there, as long as it's not like impeding on someone else's colorfulness, right? This is a metaphor for like, be happy and do well, but don't hurt other people. That's basically what I'm saying. But yeah, blank canvas. What do you want to paint in it? If you literally, you had this like superpower, right? Your superpower is, it is a blank canvas. You close your eyes, everything's white or everything's black, and then you can manifest and just create out of thin air the picture that you want to see in your own life. What would that be? What would that look like? You know, what is it? Something to think about, something to sleep on, a little food for thought. Anyways, are you becoming? What does that mean? Are you becoming something more? What do you wrestle with, and how can you beat it? One love.